Okay, are we ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Uh, let's see. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for attending this morning's board meeting. This is a special board meeting of the Cincinnati Metropolitan Housing Authority for Thursday, April 8th, 2021, for the purpose of the final approval on certifications of compliance of the CMHA fiscal year 2022 annual plan. CMHA is holding this board meeting virtually via webcam and teleconferencing on Thursday, April 8th, 2021, as approved through Ohio's novel coronavirus response bill, which directly affects how local governments throughout the state operate in conducting public business. These sweeping changes were originally approved Thursday, March 27, 2020, and extended until July 1st, 2020, via House Bill 404, approved November 19th, 2020. The meeting is now called to order. Roll call for attendance. Ms. Mitchell.
Present.
Mr. Weedman.
I see him, but I don't hear him.
He's frozen, isn't he?
Present. Can you hear me? Present.
Yes, thank you. Mr. O'Donnell.
Present.
Mr. Moore.
Present.
All right. And the chair is present. We have a quorum for the meeting. Item 3 is discussion of secretary recommendations. Resolution 5523, resolution to adopt certifications of compliance, HUD Form 50077 for the Cincinnati Metropolitan Housing Authority's annual plan for fiscal year 2022, effective July 1st, 2021.
Motion to approve.
Thank you. A second? Thank you. Any questions or discussion from board members? Hearing none.
What, Mr. Chairman?
Sure. Yes, please.
I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
Starting with the flat rent. I'm just looking at the schedule that was in the amendment. Excuse me. And I'm not sure which one of these three is the one that we're going to adopt as CMHA's new rent schedule going forward. I mean, I see the Hamilton County averages here, then the 80% and the current flat rates. Does that mean we're adopting these as the flat rates going forward, or are these the ones that are expiring?
These are the flat rates that are going forward that we are adopting.
Okay, so that very bottom line, 468, 536, et cetera, those are the flat rates going forward.
Yeah, depending on the area you're in.
So how long will those remain in effect? When do we
have, if I'm not mistaken, Mark, you have to review those every year. Is that accurate?
That's correct. Once the fair market rents are published, then what we have to do is do the calculation, because the rents have to be at least 80% of the fair market rent. And so we didn't take anything last year because there was no adjustment that was necessary. This year, upon reviewing it was. So it really just depends on the information that comes out about whether or not it will be 1 year or 2 years or longer.
Okay. But it is reviewed annually, is that right?
It is. That's correct.
I have another question about the changes that are due to COVID-19. Are we going to revert back to the former language at the end of COVID-19? I mean, I assume that these changes will remain in effect for the year from July 1st to June 30th, 2021, 2022. But in June of 2022, will we revert back to the old policies before COVID?
We're going to review what happens between now and that next year, and then we will update our recommendations. It really is going to just depend on how we're operating and what's happening in the community and what the safety levels are and all that. Right now, as you know, there's new strands of COVID, and so we're not really sure. I don't think anyone's really sure what's going to happen then. So, but we will review the what we've done every year to make sure it's relevant and keeping everyone safe and being able to move forward operations.
Okay. And under section 2, number B1, you've deleted the second half of that paragraph. I guess it's just one or two sentences there, but I'm just curious why. It previously read, preferences, if any, are then applied to determine the order of application selection from the waiting list. If 2 applicants need the same type or size of unit and have the same preference status, the applicant with the earlier date and time of application will receive the first offer. So why are we changing that?
We're just making it more clear. If we get 2 applicants, as it reads, that come in, we want to be sure that there's no discrepancy when we have our audits and they pull our information on why we chose who we chose. So we wanted to make the definition more clear for any external reviews.
But doesn't that subject us to possibly being accused of arbitrariness? I mean, at least if you've got people who are tied essentially in terms of their qualifications, how are we going to make that choice? You know, I mean,
the person that gets the earliest time date stamp.
Yeah, but that's what we crossed out here. That's why I'm confused.
Yeah,
We crossed out that the applicant with the earlier date and time of application will receive the first offer. That we're striking that language. So that's why.
do you agree with what Ed just said? Is that what you're actually doing, intending to do?
I think Marquita, you want to answer the striking out?
Mm-hmm. So this information is also in another section of the ACOP. So this is to bring clarity to, as Mr. Johnson was saying, to the language that's in the ACOP. So our preference, it's still preferences, application, date and time, but that is clarified, that's clear in other areas of the ACOP.
So you were concerned that this would either duplicate or perhaps conflict a little bit with what's written elsewhere?
Right. So when you read through the entire document, it was more appropriate in another location.
All right, I got you. Great. Okay.
So I have a question regarding that. So that change, that's part of us addressing an audit finding that we had last year or something of that nature?
No, it's just really just making clarity so it's not in 2 places and 2 different documents. So we just put it in one document area.
Okay.
Yeah.
But just to be clear, it continues to be the policy of CMHA that if there is a tie like that, or that it will be decided on the basis of the time and date of the application, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
I don't have any other questions.
Well, we thank you for those. And any other board members have a question or discussion? Or Greg?
Mr. Chair, I have one correction. In your opening statement, I believe you said that this has been extended through July 2020.
Oh, I misspoke.
And I wanted to make sure that in our notes it says 2021. I just want to make sure it's 2021.
Yes, extended the entire sentence. I intended to read as follows. These sweeping changes were originally approved Thursday, March 27, 2020, and extended until July 1st, 2021 via House Bill 404, approved November 19, 2020, period.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
A question about that. I mean, do we expect to continue having Zoom meetings past July, or going back to the regular in-person format?
We can, it's going to be up to what happens, and we can't determine which we're going to do. We have to do what the state mandates.
And I would expect you're probably not going to see them renew this.
Yeah, I'd
Really?
agree. Yep.
Wow. Okay. So we probably will be back in person in August. Is that your takeaway, Tom?
I would say, we don't have a July, do we? Or do we don't have?
No, we don't. We don't have a July.
Yeah, so we'll be back in August. Yeah.
Okay.
But that's still dependent on the state, though, right? Even
Right.
though we're planning on August, it's still dependent on the state.
Yeah,
Right.
but the state legislature has pretty much weighed in on this, that they don't feel the need to extend it unless something crazy happens, and I don't see it happening. So I would expect that we will be back in person in August.
Got it. Okay, any other questions, discussion? Hearing none, then roll call on the motion. Ms. Mitchell,
Aye.
Mr. Weedman,
Aye.
Mr. O'Donnell,
Aye.
Mr. Moore,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. The resolution passes.
Motion to adjourn?
Thank
Second.
you. Thank you. Any questions? Hearing none, roll call for adjournment. Ms. Mitchell,
Aye.
Mr. Weedman,
Aye.
Mr. O'Donnell,
Aye.
Mr. Moore,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you all so much for making time for this special for this meeting.
Thank
Have
you.
a great day.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
You all right?
Great
Bye-bye.
Thursday, guys.
Thank
Bye now.
Okay, bye.
Laverne, enjoy your day.
I will. Thank you.